Good evening, everybody. Welcome to IPFW. Division II volleyball tonight. IPFW coming in here with a 9-0 record facing Northwood, and that's 8-1. Should be a good matchup. I'm Paul Farbaugh, joined by Mark Franke tonight. And Mark, you got a chance to see both teams in earnest. What's this matchup going to hinge on tonight? What do you see it working out as?
I think probably the match tonight is going to revolve around our being able to stop their offense. Northwood is an offensively oriented team. Even the defense is structured in such a way that they want to set it up for a transition offense. We can do that primarily by serving tough, which has been a strong part of our game all year, and also blocking, which has also been a strong part of our game. So it should be an interesting match.
Okay, let's throw out some names for IPFW first of all. Familiar from last year, if you watched, this team was very young. Some of the names to watch tonight: Amy Lubin, probably one of the most improved players on the team, is going to be setting.
Amy Lubin has improved quite a bit. Last year as a freshman setter, she had to learn a system. She had to learn to play at a very different level. And even though she had played for a very good high school program at Carroll and in a good club program with the Fort Wayne Club, it still is a transition that a young player has to make. And I think she's playing with more confidence this year. Plus the offense that has been designed by Coach Heffron, I think helps her to concentrate or focus on one or two important things and not have to keep too many things in her mind at one time.
We're going to develop that theme of different offense Coach Heffron has developed. Might be the shape of things to come, and it's radically different than anything you've ever seen in the women's game. Mark will elaborate on that further on as we go. One of the players, though, that you've really liked this year, her progression of the game, is Heather Teagarden.
Heather Teagarden has improved tremendously over the last season. She's a senior, and she has changed a lot about her arm swing, and she has changed a lot about the kinds of sets she's getting because of the new offense. I know that she spent the summer in the weight room getting stronger, and you can tell that when she swings, she hits with a lot more power than she used to. She's always been a shot maker, but she's doing a better job of finding the right angles to hit around the blocks and so forth. But she's also quicker because of that weight training, and she's also a lot stronger. So when she does contact the ball, it comes off at a much higher rate of speed. It makes it much harder to both block and to dig.
Sure. A couple other names you might be familiar with. Amber Borney's going to get a start on the outside probably as well. And Julie Parrott in the back row digging it up. Let's move over to the other side of the net. Pavla Melkarova. You might guess, yes, she is from Czechoslovakia, but they go to her a lot.
She is an amazing player. She's tall. She's very, very strong. She hits it harder than anyone I've seen all weekend here in this tournament. She gets an awful lot of sets. They just won a fairly easy match against Lewis just about a half hour ago that was completed, and she got 40 sets in a 3-game match. And that's an awful lot of swings. She has a hitting percentage on the year of .455. That's 45%, and that is phenomenal. In the women's game, where their defense has a much more level of parity with the offense, you don't see hitting percentages get much beyond the high 200s or maybe at the 300. A 45% hitting percentage is amazing.
She's 6'3". She is obviously the main stud, but this team also has a couple carryovers from a team 2 years ago that won a national championship. And of course they have Kevin Fagan as coach. This team has won 8 straight. I'm talking of Northwood right now. The challenge they present to IPFW maybe might be a mental one too, because IPFW has really never played them well in Tim Heffron's reign here.
I think that our team has seen them play twice now. I think they understand what they have to do to win. And quite frankly, I think we have a very good matchup here in terms of the two teams. As I said earlier, Northwood builds their entire game around their offense. And I think we have a more balanced offense than they. Plus, I think our defense will help to slow down that offense. And if we do that, if we serve tough, which is the first thing you do on defense, is you serve tough. And secondly, if our block, which has been very good all year, stays consistent, we'll break down the one part of their game that they rely on. Whereas we have more things we can rely on, such as a block, we can rely on serving, we can rely on an offense that presents our setter, Amy Lubin, with 4 options on every single play. I think we have all sorts of advantages to us if we come out and play at the kind of level that we did last night.
All right, well, enough analysis. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be 9-0 IPFW versus 8-1 Northwood. Stick around.
This is the increasingly competitive world we live in, and this is the country we want ahead of the competition. These are the people we'll be depending on to keep this country ahead of the competition. These are the colleges and universities we're relying on for the people we're depending on to keep this country ahead of the competition. So if you want America to stay #1 in the world, do something about it. Give to the college of your choice.
Check it out!
The campus has it all.
Learn it, or work it, or play it, just do it. It's a cool place. Call now! Go to work, go to school, go ahead.
Tonight, Dolores had a few drinks, did some crack, and ended up another tragic story. Only she doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
And dog. For years, this man thought if he just tried hard enough, he could teach himself to read. Where do you go when you can't do it alone? He's getting help in a literacy program for adults. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
Where to?
Body shop, 71st and 1st.
Yeah, no use. Love your commercials. Safety belts, right?
Where you going, man?
I tell her, missus, she loves you guys. She doesn't buckle up either.
Nobody's listening.
You need anybody? Listen, Odie drivers part-time. Really inactive. Thinks it's just a little slow. Just put seatbelts in my cab. Nobody uses them. Guess they feel safe with me.
If we'd had half a brain, we'd have buckled up.
Hey, bumper breath, I do have half a brain.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
My friend Nancy's been doing a lot of drugs. I know it's catching up with her. I can see it coming. But what can I do? If I say anything, she'll think I'm not cool. And I don't want to lose a friend. I mean, it's her life. Right?
If you have a friend who's in trouble with drugs, don't just stand there. Do something.
Welcome back to IPFW. I hope that was a sufficient break to get everything from the refrigerator. Now you can sit back and enjoy Northwood, 8-1 coming in tonight against IPFW. Two perennials, and really Mark Runke along with me talk about the positioning in the polls. There's a regional poll, 8 regions in the United States, and that plays in down the line when it comes time to select 32 teams for the tournament.
That's correct. What's important for IPFW being in the Great Lakes Valley Conference is that the GLVC is not one of the conferences with an automatic bid to the Division II tournament. So not only do we have to win our conference and win it very strongly, hopefully undefeated, but also we need to play well against the teams in the other conferences, especially those out of Michigan like Northwood. We have to win those matches in order to get one of the 3 bids.
Right, and people look at those people handing the bids out. They don't really hand them out. They extend the invitation, I guess. They look to these matches right here, a team against like Northwood or a Michigan Tech team, teams in the GLIAC Conference up north. And
the Northwomen of Northwood University and your undefeated IPFW Volleyball. First, the lineups for the Northwomen of Northwood. Number 1, from Bay City, Michigan, a senior, Shannon Kite. Number 2, from Matson, Illinois, senior, Carla Peterson. From Pilsen, Czech Republic, junior, number 3, Pavla Melikalova. From Dryden, Michigan, junior, number 4, Stacy First. From Traverse City, Michigan, junior, Carrie Grimm. From Jasper, Michigan, freshman, number 6, Holly Brown. From Shepherd, Michigan, freshman, number 7, Crandall Burke. From East Tawas, Michigan, junior, number 8, Julie Powalski. From Auburn, Michigan, sophomore, number 9, Amanda Ittner. From Bering Springs, Michigan, junior, number 11, Kim Davis. From Midland, Michigan, freshman, number 12, Allison Freeman. From Burton, Michigan, freshman, number 14, Chrissy Lemure. From Livonia, Michigan, freshman, number 15, Angie Pipio. The head coach is Kevin Fagan. And now your undefeated IPFW Volleydons. Number 1, from Carroll High School, a sophomore, Amy Lubin. Number 2, from Bishop Dwenger High School, junior, Julie Parrott. Number 4, from Adams Central High School, sophomore, Amber Borney. From Belmont High School, number 5, freshman, Lisa Schultz. Number 6, from West Noble High School, senior, Amy Reidenbach. Number 7, from Carroll High School, junior, Carrie Herdman. Number 8, from Carroll High School, freshman, Star Tryon. From Grable, Indiana, Woodland High School, number 9, sophomore, Tiffany Martin. From Chrysler High School in Newcastle, Indiana, number 11, freshman, Monica Layette. From Snyder High School, senior, number 12, Heather Teagarden. From West Noble High School, freshman, number 13, Carla Guerin. From Woodland High School, sophomore, number 14, Andy Reichart. The head coach for the Volleydons is Tim Heffron. His assistants are Susan Smith, Colin Leader, Jean Heffman. Our honorary coach this evening, representing Waterfield Mortgage, is Danielle DePosti.
Well, let's get that name right. That's Danielle DePodesta and Waterfield Mortgage. Thanks for making this All-Sports Weekend at IPFW very possible. Ball there with autographs on it. Well, let's take a look now at the starting lineups for IPFW. Marge, want to go ahead and follow through with people and what to see from them.
What Coach Heffron is hoping for is that if they start in their normal rotation, what we would call the #1 rotation, where the setter is the server, we do the same. That will match Amber Borney up against Melikarova. And that would be a very good matchup for us, I think, because Amber is a strong offensive player and a good blocker.
Okay, the starting lineups, IPFW first. Amy Lubin will be the setter. Star trying. Freshman out of Carroll will get the start tonight. Along with number 5, is the Schultz in the lineup as well. Julie Parrott, Amber Borney, and Heather Teagarden also in the lineup. We mentioned keep an eye on number 3 for Northwood, Pavla Melikarova. She's the one that's going to get the swings tonight, along with Stacy First. And First is number 4. First is in the front row. Melikarova is in the back, and she's going to get on the front row after one rotation. Set to get underway, 9-0. That is a school record for IPFW. And they did it against Lewis University. Lewis beat them in 1987 when IPFW was 8-0. That was a previous record for the best start of a season. Teagarden first swing of the night.
No surprise there that we would start with Heather Teagarden. She's been carrying the offense for us much of the season, as you'd expect out of a senior.
Side out now, Julie Parrott on serve.
Julie's jump serve has been tremendous this year.
Back set, there's First kill attempt dug up by Lubin. Parrott missing.
So that kind of ball needs to be put in bounds. It's what's called a soft roll shot, and you're just trying to keep the ball in play so you can play some defense and turn it, and she hit it out of bounds.
Lubin now, one-hand set. Teagarden has to push. Back set, Melikarova.
Melikarova prefers to hit from what we call the weak side, which is behind the setter or on the right side of the offense. And you'll see her blocking there most of the night so that she can hit from there as well.
It's sort of hard to lose a 6'3" player, but she can get lost behind the front line. That's Teagarden. First digs up. Now the reset outside, Melikarova. Parrott can't cover.
Well, her first attempt is an off-speed tip when probably we were dug in expecting her to put all of her power into that.
Stacy First on serve. Northwood up 2-0. And Northwood just got done, though it was only 3 games, they just got done playing a match against Lewis 30 minutes ago.
It was an excellent play. We had 3 hitters up along the net, and we had a back row hitter as well. Went to Heather, and she was able to place the ball very well by hitting it across her body towards the deep right corner of their court.
Start trying on serve, and that was a missed hit. Andy Reichard in the lineup for IPFW in the front row. And I think we'll continue to see that all night long. Reichard will come in the front row, come out in the back row. Defensive specialist will come in for her.
You may see her do some serving because she has a very good serve, but after her serve is over, she'll probably be replaced by Lisa Schultz or another defensive specialist.
Amanda Ittner on serve at 2-0. Trying, good pass, Lubin. Setting up Teagarden, going over the top and missing wide.
That was basically the same play we ran before, very close to it. She went the other direction this time and was not able to find the court.
IPFW a little tight starting out, 3-0 Northwood. And they're working on trying. She's doing the job right now in the passing. Teagarden going cross court and missing.
I think she thought she got the blocker's hands there, but she didn't. It's not surprising that they would go after Star Tryon. Being a freshman, you naturally want to go after what you might think would be the weak link, and if there's a freshman there, you go after her first.
Now there are 3 passers back there. This time it's Teagarden. Quick hitter to Reichard. Nice pass, low trajectory, and Lubin pushed it right into Reichard's zone.
That matchup will be very good all night. She must have 3 inches over their middle blocker.
Reichard is 6'3", sophomore out of Woodland. She was all Great Lakes Valley Conference last year. Came on strong second half of the season. Melikarova off the block.
We will see that play more than any other tonight out of her. It's what traditionally is called a back slide, where the player comes from the left side of the setter, runs behind, and frequently it's a 1-foot takeoff, and then they cut the ball back sharply across the court. So it's not a difficult play to see coming or to block when it comes up.
Slide step takes more time. to get up in the air, and Teagarden goes right through the blockers. So it's a play that develops, as you can see developing. It's just a position play. If you're not in position,
that's
you're probably
correct.
not going to get it.
We'll see it a lot out of Northwood.
This is Amber Borney on serve at 0-4. Melikarova missing wide, no fingertips. Good thing Borney whiffed on it. And first point of the night for IPFW.
Looks like we had a protested call there. Didn't get anywhere with Eric Beaumont.
Tough serve. Now the reset. Melikarova has to dump it. Teagarden still alive. One to get it over. Here's Parrott.
That was a good tip by Julie Parrott. The set was one that was obvious. They had two blockers there, and she was not going to have much luck hitting directly into the block, so she just tipped it right over the top.
Borney on serve, goes to the jump at 2-4. Good one.
The easiest way to score in volleyball is with a good serve, either by getting an ace or by totally disrupting their offense so that you can either block it or easily run yours.
We talked about trying being a freshman. Angie Pippo is a freshman as well. Reichart.
That shot hit the antenna right in front of first referee Eric Beaumont, and he called it out.
Anytime the ball hits the antenna, that is considered out, so IPFW has now tied it with 4 straight on Amber Borney's serve. And another good one. Melikarova passes, took her right out of the offense, and here's another chance for IPFW.
Oh. That's one of the 3 biggest sins of volleyball, is not handling the free ball. When the ball comes over and it's just a soft floater, generally passed underhanded over the net, you need to handle it well so that it goes to the setter and you can run your offense.
I'm surprised, Mark. There's only 3 sins. 3 cardinal sins.
There might be more before the night's over.
Well, you work with Coach Ball crunching the numbers down at the end of the bench there. I think you'd know about a few more sins than 3.
Well, if we could limit it to 3, we'd probably be happy.
Okay, here's the substitution. Again, Schultz coming in the back row to dig it up. Andy Reichart coming out. And Schultz will go behind the service line. 4 apiece. Northwood jumped out 4-0. If you're just joining us, IPFW with 4 straight to come back. Once again, IPFW switching it up on the serve. That time to Melikarova. Poor pass from her.
Yeah, she didn't pass the ball well. What they had set up is something called a double quick offense, where you have a hitter directly in front and directly behind the setter, and the setter can set to either one of those. Very difficult play to block, but she didn't handle the ball.
Big swing from the outside. That's Stacy first. She is the other gun for Northwood. Those two combined have 2/3 of the kill attempts for Northwood, whereas IPFW really has 4 different players getting swings at the ball. It's either going to be number 4 or number 3 for Northwood. Tough serve handled by Teagarden.
The traditional set in volleyball, when the setter is in trouble, like in that case where Lubin had to run quite a ways to get it, is to go to what's called the outside position, which is by the antenna on the left side of the net. And that's what she did there.
Julie Parrott worked it inside. Off the blockers, here she goes again. The block not up, and another kill for Parrott. And they need her to get hot, because that just gives Lubin another option, and maybe Teagarden one-on-ones.
If you have a good left side option, that opens up a Heather Teagarden, for instance, to run a number of different plays and makes her virtually impossible to defend.
Well, Pippo now with 2 passing errors rather, and IPFW with a 7-4 lead. Kevin Fagan will take a timeout. IPFW 7 straight points. Good start for IPFW. I think Tim Heffron last year, when he watched this team, was very frustrated because he realized the talent. At one point, I believe IPFW was 4-7 last year. Really didn't get hot until the end of the year, won the Great Lakes Valley Conference tournament. And it was always a question of just this team pulling together, finding a leader. as a setter. You can see Amy Lubin tonight has been pretty good with her setting. Telling me earlier about how Tim Heffron has developed an offense. Mark, if you want to develop that as we go along here. Lubin right now is in the back row, so it's maybe not as easy for you folks to see at home. But she is doing something different, and what is going on the other side of the net. Outside, this is first against two blockers. Parrott in position. Against two blockers, Parrott is swinging well. Now back to Melikarova.
She looks like she came outside the block that time. We're directly at middle court, slightly up into the stands. It's hard to tell where that ball went, but I think probably it went to the left of our blocker, and we should have been in position to play it. I'm not sure what happened there. But you have a player like Melikarova, she's going to get her swings, and she's going to get some kills.
She is out of the Czech Republic. And a service error for Shannon Kite.
We should expect to see Julie Parrott jump serving tonight unless she gets tired.
Outside, tough
I don't
set.
think that went across the right. I don't think it ever cleared the net.
Very difficult set. Kite trying to set up number 12. That's Allison Freeman, and Freeman really was falling over herself just to get a piece of that ball. 8 straight points for IPFW. They lead at 8-4. And first gets fingertips. This would be a good opportunity, Mark, if we can follow Amy Lubin around here and see what exactly she's doing in the setter's role.
At that play right there, she didn't have many options. She just barely got to the ball. And so she did what we call kick it outside. You know you always have a player in what's called the hut position.
Off.
Now that time she could run some offense. She had some options, and especially on transition, which is after their offense is run, you properly dug the ball, got it to your setter, you run what's called a transition offense. And the quicker you can run that, the more successful you can be. And that's exactly what she did there.
Okay, Andy Reichart back in the front row. The blocking lineup of Borney, Reichert, and Teagarden. And Melikarova misses long.
That was a good play by her. She wanted to catch our fingertips. She knew she was in trouble, and when that happens, you want to hit it hard and high and just barely get the fingertips of the blockers, and it'll just go all the way out into the stands, and it's a kill.
Conversely, though, if you're on the other side of the net,
you get your hands down.
Exactly. Melikarova missing wide again.
That time she tried to hit it straight down, but we didn't give her enough room between the antenna and our block.
Second and last time out, trying to stem the tide, Northwood coach Kevin Fagan. It's 10-4 IPFW. We're going to take a timeout right here and be back with more IPFW volleyball right after this. IPFW first game, best of 5, 9-0. Volleyball trying to take it.
There was an example of a good transition play. We just didn't get the ball down. The ball was handled very well by Julie Parrott. Went right to target where the setter is supposed to be. She didn't have to move to get it. It maybe could have been a little higher, but then she ran a quick attack. The problem was that Reichart missed the ball slightly, and it just went flat and out of bounds.
And another service error. That's service error number 4 for Northwood. I suppose that's a cardinal sin, too.
No.
No?
No, that's just a venial sin. Is that the other option?
I have to go back to...
I'm Lutheran. I don't understand.
Okay. There's no way to get out of that one clean, so let's just go back to the action. Reichart missing low.
Once again, we're running a quick offense on the transition, and Andy's just not finding the ball properly. Right. That set was a little slow, a little low.
Timing is off, and that's really what it is over the middle.
You have 2 sophomores here, and it's going to take a while until their timing is really good.
Angie Pippo on serve at 4-10. Tight into the net. Borny dumps it over. Melikarova, no one there to cover.
The back row has to see the tip coming and yell, which causes the blockers to, if they can, to back off and try to play it, plus the other defensive players to move in. Whoever has tip coverage in that particular rotation. There's what's called the back row. On the right side of the court, directly behind what's called the 3-meter line, is what Tim Heffron's system calls the blue set. It's a good set for a back row player to hit, especially when they can hit the ball as well as Heather can.
Borny off the blockers, one to get it over. Melikarova with a dink, Lubin up. And that time I believe that was Borny's play, although Parrott is better able to handle it. She was not in a position to do it that time. 3 straight points for Northwood, now 7-10, so IPFW needs to get out of this rotation right here.
What happens is when you make an error, they tend to multiply. We had 2 hitting errors by Andy Reichart, and then a mental error by Julie Parrott trying to play that ball that was Amber Borning's. And when you start making errors, if you think about the error you just made, you're almost guaranteed to make another one. It's a good timeout by Coach Heffron because the momentum suddenly shifted very dramatically. And volleyball, in the final analysis, is a game of momentum. It shifts rapidly and in a very pronounced way.
It'll be interesting to see the hitting percentages for this first game. Melikarova has not been as successful as her past would indicate. Killed by IPFW.
Andy Reichart got that ball right into the deep corner, which is what she's very good at. Because of her height, she's able to hit the ball much deeper than the typical middle would.
Substitution now for IPFW. Carrie Herdman coming in for Borny. And what are the strong points of Carrie's game?
Carrie Herdman must have had 3 or 4 aces this afternoon and several last night as well. Well, I guess I jinxed her.
Better you than me. That's going to be a cardinal sin.
No, the cardinal sin on serving is to serve it into the net after a timeout.
Okay. Not after you come in, because you're... Okay. This is Lubin now outside. 2 blockers up. Now a reset. Good idea, but too far off the net. Lubin.
She was too far off the net, and she has to remember that she's not particularly tall. And so the ball has to be well above the net for her to do that.
Amy Lubin is 5'7". The net, I believe, is...
about 8 feet.
Yeah, 7'10" and a half or something like that. Now the reset. Lubin outside. Blocker slow in getting there. Dug up. One to get it over now. Outside. Parrott again. Melikarova takes herself out of the play, and again IPFW with a chance. Well, third time. Middle blocker was late getting over. Kim Davis.
We're using that a lot. I'm not sure exactly why, I can't tell yet. But so far it's been fairly successful for us. But eventually they'll start adapting to that, and then perhaps that'll open up things more on the backside, behind the setter.
Schultz on serve at 10-8. First with a good swing.
Their second most productive offensive player is first, behind Melikarova. This is a jump server here. It's the defensive specialist jump serves.
Carla Peterson on serve. Quick hitter. Start trying rather.
It looked like the ball was outside the antenna, hit the net outside the antenna, which is automatically out.
Parrott took an inside route to the set. The ball was a little farther outside, couldn't bring it back. Now Peterson on serve to try and even it up.
Lubin just keeps going back to Parrott, and Julie's doing a good job of coming back after a hitting error and getting a kill. It's important for that left side hitter to be mentally tough enough not to let her errors bother her.
Good knuckler takes Melikarova out of the play, and the push, Herdman cannot cover.
The fans don't like the call, but that ball was in.
Allison Freeman coming back into the front row, 6'1". They have some size, Northwood does. In the front. Service ace ties it at 10.
Julie had that problem earlier today. She doesn't move her feet fast enough. The most important thing in a passer's body is her feet. She has to move her feet to get in front of the ball.
Good pass from Teagarden, right back to her. Off the fingertips, yes.
Heather Teagarden is a real shot maker. She knows how to use the block, when to hit it into the block, when to hit it through it, around it, over it, whatever. She has a very good range of skills that way.
Julie Parrott back on the jump. It's a good one. Parrott up with it, good save. Borney just back into the lineup. Now outside. First missing wide, that was the set right there.
This is a good rotation for us to score on because of Julie Parrott's jump serve. It's just missed the corner.
Just missed. Good attempt by Parrott. IPFW 11-10. They reeled off 10 straight points after being down 4-0. Northwood came back with 6 of their own. 4 hits, never got the ball over.
I'm not sure why Heather tried to tip it. I think maybe perhaps she was earlier. The set came a little slower than she expected.
Tough serve by First. Teagarden off the block. 2 to get it over. Back set. Melikarova.
Melikarova likes to hit from the backside, and when she comes at it in more of a straight pattern rather than sliding behind the setter, she'll hit it down the line a lot.
Tip still alive.
Another tip.
How about that for transition offense? Do almost everything wrong, and Melikarova puts it down with authority.
We're tipping way too much.
Last timeout for IPFW, and they trail now 11-13.
Good timeout here. We are just too tentative. We're tipping the ball on offense, and they're picking it up, and then they run their offense. I think with the kind of defense they play, which is not particularly strong, and the kind of hitters we have, we've got to hit the ball hard at every opportunity.
Well, Reichart will come back in the front row. Maybe get some middle attack going. That's missing right now. Well, if you'd like to pick up free program guide, you just have to write Channel 6 at IPFW. That's 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana. The zip is 46805. You can always call during business hours. It's 481-6000. It'll detail all the live sports coming up for you. We're going to have a boatload this winter. Women look like they're going to have a very decent shot at making the tournament in volleyball and in basketball. And the men's team picked it up at the end of the year last year. A good young team coming back from Coach Andy Piazza.
Oh,
huge block.
That should have been covered. What Amber Borney was trying to do there was hit it into the block, thinking that the angle of the block was such that she'd hit it straight in and come straight back out and be out of bounds. But they got it down inbounds.
Game point and trying. Lifts the ball. 15-11. Northwood comes back on an 11-1 run to take game 1 in the best of 5. I think we might be here a while, Mark. We're going to take a timeout right now and be back with more IPFW volleyball right after this.
That new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Come from?
Welcome back to IPFW. Paul Farbaugh joined by Mark Franke. IPFW volleyball tonight against Northwood. Game 1 stats, we had them. The big one though, 15-11 Northwood, but some hitting percentages you want to go over here, Mark.
Their team hit 44%, our team hit 28%. That's quite a difference. One of the things we needed to do was block well, and we had no blocks that game. They had one, so there wasn't much blocking by either side. Serving was basically about the same. Defensively, they had 15 digs to our 9. Not a good statistic. So they're out-hit us and they outplayed us on defense.
Malakarova, 7 of 13 in kill attempts. She's the leading hitter here. 7 kills. Parrott had 5 kills. That was in 15 total attacks, though. Not a high percentage. IPFW needs to shake things up a little bit, get some other people some swings. Back set, this is first. Teagard now the outside. Parrott jammed into the net, and it was turned aside. Parrott again, this time tools off the block, side out. Again, a good weapon. You don't see the jump serve as much in the women's game. It's starting to come into fashion now. But it's still quite a weapon. And in the men's game, there is practically 3 or 4 good jump servers on every team.
That's right. The jump serve is becoming almost mandatory in the men's game. And that's primarily because the offense has such an advantage over the defense. A good jump serve will stop the offense better than anything.
That is the 4th service error for Northwood. Side out IPFW, and Andy Reichart back in. Izzy Schultz will have a seat. So far, we've just seen Reichart in the front row. Malakarova, good pass that time. Bad set, and got away with one. Borny tipped it.
That was a good save by Malakarova. She knew she didn't have much of a chance, so she just tried to keep the ball in play. She probably was as surprised as anybody to see it go onto the floor. But if you keep the ball in play, you can get lucky. Breaks come your way.
Bad pass by Parrott. Not sure exactly what Borny was trying to do there, trying a cut shot. Had to wait for the set a little bit. He's in the air early. 1-0 now Northwood.
It's a better pass there.
Better swing, overpass. Reichart, Malakarova, it's not over. Parrott gets it up. Long
Both teams
rally.
got anxious there and tipped second balls. We got ours across. Their setter did not.
Even a little rally like that can swing momentum in this game. Of course, a big swing like that can do it too. Melikarova.
Our blockers were straight up, which means they put their hands directly over their head. The important thing on a block is you need to penetrate the net, get your hands out in front of you and get over the net and contact the ball on their side of the court so it falls down on their side rather than on yours.
Andy Reichard had her spread right on her block, but when it hit her hands, it went straight down on the top of her head. Good up. This is first on the outside off of Lubin, 2 to get it over. Reichard. That time Pippo failed to suck back in the defense.
That play started with very good ball handling on the first contact so that Amy Lubin could run the quick attack.
0-1, this is Borney. Good jump serve, handled nicely. Back set. This is Parrott on the outside, catches.
We are using our outsides quite a bit. Julie Parrott had 15 attempts the first game, which is an awful lot.
Good serve, Melikarova with a nice pass off of it. First coming through. And when you have Amy Lubin on the outside, they're working her over on the front row, 5-7.
That works out well for them, not only as first, their second most important hitter, but by having her on the left side. Our setter has to block our right side, their left side, in order to be ready for transition. It's a good matchup for them.
Overpass and converting, Amanda Ittner. This is Carla Peterson. She goes to the jump. Fifth service error. Side out for IPFW, 1-2. Lisa Schultz will come in and serve.
One of the differences in the jump serve between the men and the women, like Carla Peterson threw it pretty much straight up, whereas in the men's game, they'll toss it quite a ways in front of them and drive towards it, so it has a substantial amount of speed and topspin as it clears the net.
I imagine it's at any part of the game, the farther along you get, the more specialization there is in the game, and you'll see quite a few different variations on the jump serve in the men's game.
The two games are very different. They're almost impossible to compare because, first of all, you're talking about different kinds of athletes.
Tough pass for Lubin to handle, and Teagarden has to dump it over. Ittner now. That was a little bit of a giveaway. Now Teagarden, back row attack. Up, 2 to get it over. First.
Well, I think that might have been out. That was a good save. That was a good block. We did not penetrate the net, but we were at least close enough and the ball came hard enough that it did return.
Moving on serve at 1-2. Poor pass.
Crowd wanted a lift called on that. One of the rules that's changed in the men's game, and quite frankly I don't know if that change is in effect for the women this year, is that on the serve you can get away with a double hit. If it strikes your arms and then rolls up and strikes another part of your body, it'll be legal this year.
I think that was 4 hits, never got the ball over the net. This is a very good rotation for IPFW to capitalize on. First and Melikarova are both in the back row. So right now the setter, Shannon Kite, needs to find a consistent option. Front row attack. It's Chrissy Lemieux. She is just a freshman. And IPFW really working this rotation over.
They don't have any of their strong hitters up, as you said, but the other problem is they just don't have many options. Their offense is too oriented towards those 2 hitters, and the other hitters tend not to be as strong because they don't get as much work.
First now on serve at 2-4. That was a smoke from Tryon. Star trying with a kill.
It's good to see her swing hard at that. You can see it on her face. She's happy about it. She was kind of down mentally in the first game because she made some passing errors. They picked on her. But now it looks like she's mentally back.
Melikarova, poor pass. Coming back to her, off the fingertips. Lubin with a tough pass to work with. Borney high off the fingertips. And now a reset for IPFW. Transition outside Borney. 2 blockers up. Dug up nicely. Melikarova capitalizing, and Lubin gave that one away.
That was an excellent attempt by Amber Borney. The set was a little tight. One of the things Tim Heffron is trying to do this year with Amy Lubin is have her set it farther off the net, which gives the hitters more shot opportunities. But that was tight, and just pure power is all she did. Unfortunately, they dug it and came back, and we couldn't dig theirs.
Tough pass. Melikarova catching line, and Tim Heffron not buying Chris Farmer's call.
That ball was awfully close to the line. I've been sitting just off of where Chris Farmer is calling lines this whole tournament. He's done an excellent job. He hasn't missed many at all. I think I'll believe him.
Heather Teagarden with a kill. Way to stick up to your players there, Mark.
Well, you have to. Chris Farmer on the men's team out of Oklahoma. The men's players call lines for the women's matches.
Been a well-officiated game thus far. Well played in points too, and there's the lack of penetration. Teagarden and Reichart up at the net. There's no way that ball should get through there. If you're an IPFW fan, if you're a Northwood fan, well, of course it's going to find a hole.
Our blocking just hasn't been quite up to par tonight.
And that was one of the areas of big improvement.
Right. Blocking and serving were the 2 keys, I thought, to this match. We're not serving particularly bad, but we're not real strong either. And our blocking is still hasn't come.
4-3 IPFW. This is Teagarden. Side Melikarova. Quick hitter, Reichart, and now Lubin and Reichart starting to connect.
Andy Reichardt's hitting percentage on that set there in transition has to be phenomenally high this year. They run it a lot, and they run it in good situations where she's going to be successful with it.
What a nice pass from Julie Parrott, though. Gave Lubin plenty of time to set up. Reichart called for that one. That time went outside to Borney. Borney never got it over. Oh, yes, on top of the net, Melikarova.
When the ball's on top of the net, if any part of the ball breaks the plane of the net, it's a free ball. Anybody can go after it. And when they have a 6'3" player that strong, she's going to go after it.
She's just a junior, too, so should be back for another year. That time could not dig it out. Big swing by Borney.
In this rotation, I think we'll probably see first number 4 hitting from the left side quite a bit. She's their primary option.
Melikarova, decent pass. Oh. Shannon Kite's been waiting for that play. No middle blocker up.
I don't believe I've seen her do that this tournament yet. This is the 3rd match I've seen them, and that's the first I recall that play. It's something you only see in the women's game because the setter has to make it look like she's setting, and instead she just flicks it over the net. It's much more difficult for a male player who's much taller to do that.
Yes, a lot of people remember Lloyd Ball with the one hand. What a run he's had with the U.S. Olympic team.
He's playing very well. I've worked with Lloyd for 4 years, and in addition to being a fine volleyball player, I've known his family for a long time, and I'm very happy for his success. But I think that level of play is what Lloyd Ball is really designed to be successful
Something he can excel in. You could see it here. There were times he would make plays. It would be a brilliant set yet the players could not respond to it. They just did not have the physical capabilities. And when you're playing with players that are 6'7", 6'8", and just a step faster, just a split second faster, they react to the way Lloyd Ball sees the court at 6'9".
He's serving very well, just like he did for us, and his blocking, which his father, Arnie Ball, worked on his whole career here, and by his senior year, even late in his junior year, Lloyd became a very good technical blocker, and he's blocking very well in addition to his serving.
Lubin on serve at 5'3". Never got over the net, or yes, it was tipped at the net there. Teagarden got a piece of it. Lemieux is having problems getting that ball over the net, and when she does, she's just putting a little topspin on it, trying to lob it over cross court. So again, here's the rotation. First is in the front row. So Lubin trying to take her out of the play. And here we go. Lemieux dumps it over. Here's a transition chance. Barrett up against two blockers. Now another chance. Almost.
Oh, that was the right call. The set wasn't executed well enough. Oh, they were in the net.
Ooh, a giveaway that time. Teagarden almost in the net, and the timeout.
That was an excellent choice by Amy Lubin. Unfortunately, she did not execute it well.
Well, we have a little tape of Amy Lubin. We did a little ISO of her last game, and Mark, you just want to set this up a little bit. Explain what Amy Lubin now is looking for when she's at the net.
The offense that the Volleyball are using is called a gap offense, where they take the three blockers, and that gives you 4 gaps on the outsides and then in between blockers, and they send a hitter to each one of those gaps on every play. And Amy Lubin just simply needs to watch the middle blocker, see where that blocker goes, and that tells her then how her players are going to adjust, because our hitters will adjust to the blockers to always try to stay in the gap between them. So she has 4 options on every play, and she can be very successful.
Right here, now when she gets the ball, she can see where that middle blocker is and set it up. She has some options in advance. You say 4 options.
There she didn't have much choice. She was driven off the floor and had to set it to the closest hitter.
Okay, back to live action. 7-3 IPFW. That time Lubin failing to cover up that time.
Nobody expected that to happen.
3-7. Teagarden in off the fingertips, and again, no penetration at the net. Amanda Ittner off the net. Teagarden just rolled one over.
We're very fortunate there. What makes Northwood a good blocking team is because they're very good with tight sets. And there we had a tight one, but Heather was able to turn it into a kill with a very soft tip.
Service error just taking the top of the net, Julie Barrett. Substitution now coming back into the game, Kim Davis. Places Carter Peterson. Peterson's just a defensive specialist. 7-3, weren't with us in game 1. Northwood came back from a 10-4 deficit to win 15-11. 3-woman block up. And now another chance. Borney high, didn't catch fingertips.
Amber Borney struggling a little bit tonight. She's a young player, but she's very strong, and she's the perfect physical type of player for that position. The coaching staff's very high on her. Amy Lubin gave her another chance. That's an important thing in the psychology of setting. You have to know when a player makes a mistake, the kind of player you can go back to immediately, allow them to get a kill, and then they immediately forget about their mistake. Other players are thinking about their mistake, and you want to go away from it.
And so often, too, the setter will go immediately back to that player.
That's correct.
Ooh, Reichhardt with a wide open court, missing.
One of the things you need to try to pick up on an opposing setter is how often she'll do that. When will she go back to the same player who has just made a mistake? If you can, setters have a tendency that is noticeable, and they stay with it. So if you can pick it up, you'll know what to expect after an error.
Blocked outside, Borney into the block of Melikarova. She can't turn it inside, and now it's side out for Teagarden. It's 7-4.
Yeah, there's a good replay of her hitting into the block. When you know the block does not come in and turn the outside hand in so the ball comes back to the court, you can just hit it hard into the block and it comes right back at you.
Melikarova a little late getting there, did not have her body in position, therefore her arms not in position either. Overpass by Tryon. And that ball never got over the net. 4. Side out IPFW. Substitution now. Good call by Coach Heffron. Want to get a serve over the net. Carrie Herdman coming in for boarding.
Carrie's served pretty well on the season. She has, looks like 12 aces on the year.
12 aces in 9 matches. Tough serve there. First has to dump it over. Now Tryon, DeLubin, outside, Parrott. Another transition trance. Right card. That's almost even money when she gets a one-on-one in the middle.
It's better than even. I'm sure it's better than even. She may have to go to that more. I noticed that Amy Lubin might be tiring. Her sets to the outside are dropping short.
Overpass and Lubin cannot convert.
That's sin number 1 of volleyball. Missing the overpass.
It's a difficult play though. When people see
Right.
that overpass, it's almost like an overhead in tennis.
You have to be ready for it. You have to be expecting it all the time.
Parrott stuffs one down. Parrott has played extremely well. Lisa Schultz coming in. Reichart will get another brief respite on the bench. 8-4 IPFW. We're seeing more service errors from IPFW this second game than in the first.
The other disturbing tendency, Paul, is for the defensive specialists to come in and immediately have a service error. That's the second one this match, and it's really something you should avoid.
Parrott again on the outside, off the fingertips. First, off Tryon. Like Tryon had decent position on the net that time.
And Julie Parrott was, well, she was back a little bit,
yeah,
but she didn't have her weight forward so that she could have easily reacted to that. She should have been able to pick that up. She's probably a little tired.
She's been doing the majority of the swinging for IPFW. Here she goes again, off two-person block. Melikarova can't cover up.
If she is tiring, she's not showing it in her arm swing. She's still swinging pretty well.
One of the improvements she made in her game last year was just the velocity on her swing.
Right. Here comes a free ball. Now this should be a point.
Outside, Parrott, 2 blockers late in getting there. Good call.
One of the interesting statistics you can keep on the bench is how often you take a free ball and immediately turn it for a point. It should be a very high percentage.
Time Teagard in there. Carrie Grimm, a freshman, finding a little room on the outside. 5-9 Northwood on serve. Teagarden swinging. You see a set like that on a kill attempt, you wonder why it can't happen every time.
I think they were expecting her to go down the line. In fact, I was, and she cut it inside the block and just barely caught the side of the court there. It's a good shot. That's a senior play.
Melikarova blasted. Makes me wonder what her reach is standing flat-footed, because she does not get a lot of height on her jump.
No, but
her ball just goes straight down.
She has fairly long arms, it looks like.
Teagarden, 3-woman block up. Overpass, Tryon up with it, and a lift call. Play by Tryon. Reichart back in, Schultz out. Reichart has played solely on the front row tonight.
I really expected to see some serving out of her, and we may still.
And another tick on the net. IPFW, if I'm not mistaken, has 5 service errors in this game alone.
That's a lot. It's only 9-5.
That one's out, so back to back. Heather Teagarden will probably stay down. Who's calling the serves on the sidelines?
The serves are called by Jean Heffron. Her responsibility is to concentrate on the passers on the other side of the net and then tell our server where to serve the ball, which passer to go after.
That time they went after Melikarova, and it worked. First with a lift, and now 10-5.
In scouting this team the last 2 nights, we saw that if Melikarova does not handle the ball well, their offense basically stops right there. And I think Jean Heffron is trying to take her out of the offense by serving to her.
All right, we'll take a timeout here. IPFW leads in game 2, 10-5. We'll be back with more right after this. IPFW Volleyball. I'm Paul Farber, joined by Mark Franke. Best of 5. Northwood in here tonight against IPFW. Northwood won game 1, 15-11. It's 10-5 IPFW in the second. Just talking there during the break. Looks like it could go 5, and that means maybe fresher legs on IPFW's part.
It was an excellent serve. Perfect.
There's the block that you want to see.
And that was all set up by the serve. Jean Heffron went after Melikarova. She's in this rotation. She comes left. It's the only one she does it in, and she drove her to her right, so she could not get out to hit.
Once again, working her over. This time a good pass though, and she's turned aside. Amber Borney stuck block at the net.
Time she went right, and we had 2 blockers out there because that play was so obvious that she was going to run that back slide. In the Heffron system, that would be called a flash.
Slide set that time. Lubin gets it up. Borney dumps. Now a transition chance for Northwood. Harrod up with it. A great up, and Borney can't recover.
It looked like that ball was probably going to be out anyways, but that was a good effort by Amber Borney. She just about took out one of our cameramen.
Teagarden, good handle on the serve. Borney stuffed at the net by Kite, the setter.
I thought that was a fairly good set, given that Amy Lubin had to go into the net. She stayed out of. She didn't touch the net, so she controlled it well and had it far enough off the net for Amber Borney. I'm not sure. She probably just had a strong block and went into it rather than trying to go around it.
Also, she went into the block pretty low.
Yeah.
Lubin with the dink attempt. Almost an overpass is.
Oh.
And how about that? Lubin 5'7" beats Stacy First 5'11". She was just up on the ball quicker.
And she went up with strong hands, meaning that she had her elbows in, which makes the hands much stronger going out.
Good point. Now Herdman coming in behind the service line again. Amber Borney will have a slight rest. We mentioned the name Jean Heffron. As you can guess, those two are related.
They're legally related.
Remember who said that, Tim?
Jean Heffron, of course, is Tim's wife, and this year she's helping him. She was a high school coach up in Minnesota when she lived there.
Right, and I believe Tim met her up there.
That's right.
How does that work out now with the IPFW bench? Which coaches are handling which particular parts of the game?
As I said earlier.
Ooh, not over yet. Reichart celebrating. outside. Parrott the block late in getting there.
That was a good shot by Julie Parrott because the set was a little tight, and she just brought it straight down, seeing that she had an opening in the block.
14-6. This is game point for game 2. First, off the net, what do we have?
What was the call there, Paul? Was that 4 hits or was that a lift?
I believe it had to be a lift there. Ball went over the net, lift called, 15-6. In the books for IPFW in game 2, and a little momentum. And this crowd, about 500 in number, getting a little noisy here.
Well, they have a lot to be proud of with this team.
Good run there, late stretch, game 2. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, game 3. Stick around, IPFW evens it up.
That new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Mental illness. We fear it. We laugh at it.
This guy's lost his
We scorn it. We think it's shameful. But these are misunderstandings. Misunderstandings that will fade away if we see mental illness for what it really is. A medical disease. A disease that can be treated if you just know where to turn. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you help us? I'm sorry, Sir, please help our brother. Ma'am, we need some blood for our brother. Please.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Sir? Please, ma'am.
Oh, not now, baby.
Our brother really needs blood. Can you help us?
Imagine if you had to ask for blood to save the life of someone you love. Next time the American Red Cross asks, give blood, please.
Back at IPFW, first live volleyball telecast of the season. Looking on the bandwagon right now, there's still room. This IPFW team could go a long way. They're even right now with perennial powered Northwood. 1 game apiece, and took that second game convincingly, Mark Franke, because they hit the ball pretty well.
Our offense really clicked in that game. We hit 43%, and now we're leading 24% to 16% on the match. But the other thing that clicked in was our blocking. We had no blocks the first game. We got 5 that game. They only got 1 block. And each of those blocks probably resulted in a point.
And it really clicked in the second half of that game. IPFW struggling at one point just to break even. Went ahead from 7-4 to 10-5 and then ran it out from there.
They had a defensive advantage in the first game, and we've evened that for the match now. So apparently our defense was stronger that game as well.
I don't know if we want to make a deal right away of the fatigue factor, but obviously with Northwood playing just prior to this match, even though it was only 3, maybe they are getting a little tired. When you see that, you're starting to see more service errors. Conversely, though, IPFW with 6 service errors in that game. Should we keep an eye on that?
Well, there's 2 lines of thought about what causes fatigue like this. If you sit out for 2 hours after playing a hard match, you can really lose your physical tone, right, and it may be hard for you to come back. Whereas if you come right back and play again, sometimes that's easier. But on the other hand, we also had a 5-game match against perennial competitor Lewis, and yes, Northwood had a fairly easy time against Lewis.
That Lewis game was up and down for IPFW. They won the first one 16-14, lost the second 17-50, then 15-10, 7-15, 15-8 to close it out. And Lewis in the third game was 2-15 against Northwood. So Northwood had a very easy time against Lewis, and that was Lewis's second game, so maybe fatigue for them.
Right, they played back-to-back after playing 5, and that showed. Plus, Lewis likes to play against us. They like to beat us almost as much as we like to beat them.
I think that is probably the biggest rivalry for a women's volleyball team. It could be in the men's, too. They're starting to develop a pretty good team up there.
Yeah, they called her coming over the net.
That time the ball was on the IPFW side. Amanda Ittner a little aggressive, a little anxious. Can't touch the ball on the competitor's side of the court.
Unless it's attacked. On the third contact, if it's attacked, you can block it immediately. But if it's not, you can't go over the net to play it.
Julie Parrott on serve at 0-1.
Oh, great serve.
Peterson was not ready for that one. Talk about moving the feet. She never did.
I think what Julie Parrott's jump serve gives to the other team is not so much the speed. She was down. But the topspin that comes on it and it drops. When the ball has topspin, it's liable to take a nosedive at any point, and it's hard for a passer to follow that.
Teagarden right down the pipe. Peterson digs it up nicely. Outside, Schultz with the up. Now Borney outside, right over the top from Melikarova.
Good set selection there by Amy Lubin. She came in with Heather Teagarden in what they I think call a beach set. It's the gap in the middle in front of the setter, and then she came outside to Borney. Two very strong hitters. You can't block them all.
Schultz on serve, a tough one. Melikarova with the overpass. Ace for Schultz. Or trying, Start Trying rather.
Start Trying's a freshman out of Carroll High School, played in a very good program there, also played Fort Wayne Club. And she had to step into the middles position that suddenly came open this season. I think probably what Coach Heffron would like to do with her is either put her in a swing position or perhaps even opposite, perhaps as the successor to Heather Teagarden. And that's her more natural position.
Here's Melikarova, dug up by Lubin, great dig. Dink attempt, good try by Teagarden, thought was there.
One of the things that's always impressed me with Amy Lubin, and I've seen her play for years, is her defense. She's an excellent defensive player. And this year I haven't noticed it as much, perhaps because I've been watching her more offensively, but there was an example of what kind of defense she can play. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but he's obviously explaining some call where there's been some perhaps talking under the net or to him. One of the things about volleyball is it's really a sport played with high sportsmanship. You're not allowed to complain about a call. You're not allowed to talk to the other team. Oh, there's a mishandle.
Lubin with a lift.
Sometimes the setter will do that when the ball's wet. If the ball gets moist in a humid gym, especially September in Indiana, it's very hot in here. It's not air conditioned, and so that ball could be a little wet and therefore slippery.
2-3, Northwood on serve. Borney never got it over. Let's get back on Start Trying's point. She played with Amy Lubin at Carroll.
That's right. They played together in high school and in club. There's the 3 errors in a row again. Heather Teagarden's tip that went out of bounds. Amy Lubin mishandling the second ball and then hitting it so it doesn't even clear the net.
Ties it at 3. This is Lubin now down the pipe. Teagarden blocked. Gets it back up. Another shot for her. 2 blockers there waiting, and Teagarden took off too soon.
Tim's going to want a timeout. No?
See another point here for Northwood. Might be, though. That was poor transition that time from IPFW.
We could easily let them take some momentum here, and then we'll have to fight to come back. I don't think Coach Heffron will let this go too much longer.
Reichart soft in the middle. Melikarova plays it up. Reichart misses, can still hit it.
She was way early. And there's the timeout. I guess we expected that one.
Yeah, I think we did. So 3 straight points, 4 straight points for Northwood. They lead game 3, 5-3, and it's really a case of IPFW making errors rather than Northwood taking it to them. What do you expect to see this play out of the timeout? I have to look at the rotation here to see, but Julie Parrott has been very consistent. She is back row.
I think that probably we're going to see.
Got Reichart middle. If you get a good pass, automatic, you want to go to her.
Yeah, we may see Reichart move across the net and get a quick set. Well, pass has to.
Well, overpass, can't do anything with that. 6-3 now, Northwood. 5 straight points.
What we may need is Amber Borney just to stick it down from the outside, just to stop this.
And that time 4 hits. IPFW really struggling.
She set it to what they call the gap, it looks like, and there was no hitter there. I'm not sure who was supposed to have that, but the hitter in that position wasn't there.
I think the only hitter that could have been was Borney that time. Outside, Teagarden has to slide to get it. And this time Melikarova misplays the set. Another chance for IPFW. Teagarden setting Borney. And a little bit of a gift.
As I suggested earlier, it probably is going to come down to Borney putting the ball down from the outside position. When you're in trouble, you just go to your biggest, strongest player on the left side and tell him to hit the ball down to the floor.
7-3 Teagarden, or 3-7 rather, Teagarden on serve. Good up by Parrott. Now to the outside. Borney one more time. Kite back setting Melikarova. That's a tough play.
Well,
Julie Parrott to get.
Defensively this year, they're not using what's called rotation defense very often, which means the wing player, the back row player behind the blocker that's in front of the attacker will come up expecting the tip. Last year they saw a lot of teams tipping and they played rotation defense. This year they're just basically read defense. They're going to stay that way till somebody burns them with tips.
There's Reichart, quick hitter. Side out IPFW, Borney on serve.
Jean Heffron puts Borney up here to jump serve. Looks like it.
Now we got Melikarova in the middle. See if they work her over. They do.
Oh.
The knuckler and Reichart can't convert.
Our first 2 contacts were one-handed contacts, and when that happens, the odds of it ever clearing the net are not very good.
Good pass by Trine, and Reichart missing again in the second lift. She's struggling right now. Is there another middle that would come in for Reichart?
Well, actually, that was not particularly a good set to make there. That was just the wrong selection.
Right back to her big swing from Reichart. Another swing. Parrott playing the kill attempt, and Reichart puts it down that time.
Reichart is effective when she's able to be near the setter, and the setter has good control of the ball. When the setter's going backwards off the floor, the set's going to be slow. What Andy Reichart had to do at that last play was she had to wait, delay her approach, and hit a slightly different type of set, but she didn't. So I think it was the wrong selection, and it wasn't executed very well by either player. But they're both young, they're sophomores.
Right, and that's one of the things as the season wears on too, they'll learn each other.
And I think by the time they're seniors, they're going to be pretty much unstoppable. They're hard to stop now.
And we've seen Andy Reichart, when she hits the ball, tough serve, just took in the net. When she hits the ball, sometimes when it hits the floor, it sounds like a man is really pounding that ball. Sound of her hit is different from anybody else's. Back-to-back service errors for IPFW, and it was a problem in game 2. They got away with it because they were hitting the ball so well, passing the ball well.
There are 2 kinds of service errors. One's really bad, and that's And when you miss that much, that's really bad. Sometimes the service error isn't so bad if it just misses a corner or just skims the net on a real hard-driven ball.
So let me get this straight here as Teagarden puts one over the reset. Outside to first, and she catches line. There's not so bad, and then there's really bad.
Well, so you're willing to accept a few service errors each game because the only way to avoid service errors is serve very softly and weakly, in which case you're accomplishing nothing. So to serve tough, you're going to get some errors.
Barrett, good pass this time. Teagarden tight into the net. Just well to get it over and underneath.
Barrett caught her. The rule about going under the net is one that fans don't necessarily understand. If it's your foot, as long as any part of the foot contacts the center line, it's legal. Any other part of the body touches the line, and it's a fault, an error.
Well, timeout at 5-3. Now it's 10-3. Tim Heffron using the last timeout. New Music 95, Channel 6. That's 11 o'clock. And I know this is the type of music you like to listen to, Mark. Probably more eloquent.
I don't think I've ever been up at 11 p.m.
Could set the IPFW men's volleyball team to that music, right? With some of the haircuts we've seen walking around in here.
That's right.
It's good to see some of those Volleydons back in action. Brad Perditis and Wayne Williams both walking around without any limps.
Yeah, Bradley is going to be an important part of the team. He's the kind of leader that we need because he has such a good mental attitude. He's a very nice person, and he's a tough competitor.
And it really hurt him last year as Teagarden puts one down. Big swing. It really hurt him last year to watch the team when they needed some type of leadership, and he just, you're physically not able to do it. So that's probably the worst type of torture there is.
Now, there are several times when Arne looked down the bench, and I'd have to say, Arne, Perditis isn't here. He was looking for him.
Good up by Lumen, and there's great defense by IPFW, still alive and can't get it up.
I think we're starting to see the fatigue factor in terms of the defense. The defense isn't quite as crisp, and so they don't handle the ball as well. Both teams have played already today in a gym that's probably been in the low 80s in terms of temperature.
Teagarden down the middle, catching line. Lisa Schultz will come out, and Andy Reichard back in front row. Start trying on serve. She hits a low flat one, see if she goes over to first. She does. Back set, Melikarova.
It was hard to pick up the angle there. I don't know whether she came totally inside the block or split the block. But Heather was out of position to play it, so perhaps it must have come between the blockers.
Service error.
You were right earlier, Paul, when you said as teams get tired, you see more service errors. I think we'll be seeing more and more as the night goes on.
It's just a question, really, when you're behind the service line, of concentration.
Correct. Serving the volleyball is like shooting a free throw in basketball. It's all concentration and letting your form, your technique, do its thing.
Teagarden with a good up. Barrett with a nice up. Now transition defense. Two blockers up. Reichart off the block. Oh, there was a lift by Melikarova. Never called. That was a whirlybird coming out of her hands. You got to play till the whistle blows.
Eric Bolman and Jeff Schultz have been refereeing all day, and they've called a loose game. They've not called many ball handling errors. Personally, I prefer it that way, but that one was a little obvious.
Lift that time called by Melikarova.
Well, the other thing you can expect is if the referee gets booed, he's not going to make the same mistake twice against the home crowd.
Carrie Herdman coming in. We've been stuck on this 10-3 score, trading side outs. Another top serve, service ace. Serve at the body.
Good top spin on that because It went over the head of the middle passer and still dropped in the court.
4-10. That time, easy serve. Melikarova handles. Teagarden there. Saw the tip. Ben Reichart converts. And now a little momentum.
Nothing like a service ace or a stuff block to get your team's momentum going.
Kevin Fagan, no relation to Donald Fagan, calling the timeout at 5:10. He wants to stop the momentum right here. And if I had a segue from a Steely Dan song, I would have used it right there. Would have been appropriate. He sees it right now that IPFW is picking it up defensively. What do they have to do? Melikarova has hit a couple times for Northwood if they want to step this up and just ease the game on out there. They have a 5-point
If Northwood
cushion.
does?
Yeah.
Northwood needs to handle the ball both on passing and defensively a little better so that they can run some offense and run an offense such that their two big guns can swing at the ball. They've been doing too much tipping and rolling, which is a real soft swing.
Erdman on serve at 5:10. Melikarova winding up.
I think that was probably the play they wanted to run. It's just that she didn't get the ball in the court.
Good serve by Herdman.
Another ball handling problem.
Melikarova not going down to get that ball.
What's happening right now is what you want to see happen. A defensive specialist comes in to serve and you score points.
And another timeout, 7:10. Last one for Fagan to take here. Expect IPFW to keep serving to the top gun, Melikarova. We're going to take a timeout here. We come back. More IPFW volleyball.
That's IPFW Athletic Director Butch Pershon.
I guess we go to break, we go to Butch, huh?
I didn't know his first name was Stanley. I guess his mother didn't name him Butch, did she?
You work with that. I'm staying out of that.
Yeah, but I'll remember that.
Personally, I don't see anything wrong with Stanley.
He's a great man. I think he's going to do a lot for this program.
And you could tell, I think, kill attempt by Melikarova there.
That's what I said earlier. They have to do. They have to pass the ball, and they've got to get it to her, and she has to really swing hard at it.
I think just being around the program just a little bit, I have been now, that there's a different type attitude about IPFW athletics. It's really sort of picked up, the enthusiasm level. And to be honest with you, this women's volleyball team is going to be very good. They're going to be in the rankings. And the women's basketball team has everybody back. They're going to be very good this year. A top 20 team, and coach has had a year to adjust, get her system in. It's going to be a big year.
I'm excited about this volleyball team. I think they have a chance to make the tournament and also win some matches in that tournament.
Said at the top of the show was just 2 years ago, Northwood took it all.
When we won last night, or this afternoon, I can't remember which now, we set the new school record for most wins at the beginning of the season. That record had been held by the 1987 team, which I've been here a long time, and personally I think the 87 team was the best team we've ever had.
Is that 87 team the last team to go to the tournament as well? Did 88 go a year later?
They went in 88 as well.
Okay.
But the 87 team was good, very good.
Reichart over the middle, still up, got to get it over. And Reichart again will do the dance. Schultz coming in. 7-12, so Northwood temporarily stemmed the tide.
Let's see if Schultz can help us score here.
Decent pass, but that time Kim Davis a little off.
There's a combination play where they put two hitters in the same hitting zone and set the first one.
Davis hit that ball coming down. Good serve, handled nicely. This is first. Parrott in position. Back to Parrott, two blockers up. Melikarova out of the play. First has to dump it over. Trying. Swinging on the first attempt. Now back to first. Up by Schultz, and we have a lift.
Well, the ball's outside the antenna.
Outside, okay. IPFW with a point.
Heather saw it coming, but she wasn't able to get there in time, perhaps because of fatigue.
Kim Davis is a second leading hitter for Northwood, but all she has shown tonight is just the finesse game. She has not been really powerful. She's 6 feet tall. Gets away with one there. Parrott bombing. She has been impressive.
Her offensive numbers are not as good as what I would have expected after having seen her play a couple of times this season. I always thought she was hitting very well. She had a lot of errors this afternoon. But it looks like she got that behind her. Yeah, she's only, as of 2 games, Paul, she had 12 kills and 3 errors, and she's hitting 35%.
This is Parrott. Good pass to Lubin. Back to Parrott. Down the pipe. I like the way she passes, too, because she passes a very low, very fast ball. Anytime you can speed the game up, and we see it now with Amy Lubin, she's jump setting practically every set she gets to. Less time the defense has to react. Good serve by Parrott. Big hit, trying, converting, and it's one now down to 2 points, 10-12 IPFW.
Tim has Amy jump setting a lot. You see a lot of jump setting on quick attacks and so forth, but to see a setter jump set nearly all the time is unusual. But he feels it's important to help her be a more consistent setter. It also helps with the longer sets if she can use the power of her legs to help push the ball a little farther and a little crisper so it gets there faster.
One of the problems they had last year, IPFW, was not having a set setter. As Borney goes in between the blockers for the put down. They had to shuttle around. Julie Parrott did some setting. You know,
I think Julie had been a setter in high school. And that's probably why he tried her. But one of the problems, in fairness to Amy Lubin, is that you come in as a freshman to be thrown right on the court and have to direct a team is a very difficult position to be in. Yeah, that got the line.
That did catch line. Side out Northwood.
Ideally, you want to bring in a freshman when you have a senior, and that gives her a year to learn the system and not be under a lot of stress. You can play her in tournaments and long weekends, and she learns the team. But Amy Lubin was thrown right on the floor, and so she had to learn very quickly.
And more often than not, the setter will be son or daughter of the coach. We see that a lot in the men's game, where you see a highly celebrated freshman coming in. They're one of the most accomplished players on the floor. Amy Lubin did, she came in and she had to run right away.
My daughter's a setter, and we were fortunate in getting her into a school this year where they have a senior setter. In fact, they're using her as an opposite, so she's playing, but she doesn't have the pressure of running an offense, because the offense they have out at Virginia Commonwealth, where she is very different from what she's used to here in the Midwest. So it's a good situation for her. She's getting plenty of playing time, but she doesn't have the responsibility to carry the team every day.
How does volleyball, just to abuse your knowledge here a little bit about the national scene, how does it stack up? In the men's, you're always hearing about the power rush in the West Coast, and then you have Penn State, IPFW, Ohio State, Ball State. That's about it. How does it rank in the women's game?
Well, there's some very strong teams outside of California. Penn State is strong. Texas is strong. Notre Dame looked like they were going to build a very strong program, although I think maybe they're struggling this year. I'm not really sure. So there are some other areas where you see strong programs. And the difference, Paul, is that girls in high school play volleyball everywhere. And Indiana, northeastern Indiana, is very strong for that. Whereas high school boys is only found in a few
You'll
states.
find pockets, right.
Right. That's why we don't have hardly ever Indiana players on our team. We've had a couple good ones, Lloyd Ball certainly, and Lauren Jeebert. Both All-Americans, but that's rare.
And there's another finesse shot. Works this time for Davis. And now a game point, 14-11 for Northwood. Game 3 on the line. Well, IPFW trying to set it up so they serve to Teagarden. Instead they go to Parrott. Good pass. Outside, this is Borney. Blocked. Trine chases it down. Now a tough set for Teagarden. She comes through, overpass. Still alive. Melakaroma with a put down.
Well, looks like we lost another one, 15-11.
Well, I really believe it's going to go 5 here. IPFW now has to come back. We're going to take a break. 15-11 in game 3. Northwood leading IPFW 2-1. We'll be back on the other side.
My friends have already retired. But I wasn't ready for that. So I'm still teaching. This time in Belize, Central America. I decided to join the Peace Corps. I love my kids. And the way I figure it, I have the rest of my life to play cards.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
What comes to your mind when you think about mathematics? Clowns, street sweepers, the Red Sox, robots, the weather, earthquakes, Disney World, pineapples, conventions, parking tickets, fishing? If these practical applications of contemporary mathematics didn't make your list, you should watch Public Television's math series For All Practical Purposes.
Welcome back to IPFW Game 4, best of 5. Northwood leading in this one 2-1, 15-11, the Game 3 score. Stats again one more time. Tim Heffron can't be happy if he had a look at them. Game 3, IPFW not hitting very well at all.
9% as opposed to 32% by Northwood. It's very hard to win when you hit 9%.
Two players hitting.
No blocks.
Hitting well though is Julie Parrott. She's up still at about 35-36%. Start trying 4 of 6 on the attempts, but other than that, IPFW not really successful.
Paul, about Julie Parrott is that she only has 3 errors, 14 kills and 3 errors. Look at, for instance, Amber Borney has 9 kills, but also 7 errors. Heather Teagarden, 8 errors. That's a lot for her.
Good start here, IPFW with a transition chance. Ooh, bad set. Teagarden has to dump. That's Borney's ball. Lubin was getting in position to set the ball.
It's important when you're down 2-1 and you're tired that you don't get too far into the hole.
try and missing that time. Teagarden into the net, another error. One-0 Northwood. Tough pass, and IPFW coming out a little ragged. Teagarden up with it. Now this is Lumen. Borney behind the 3-meter. Transition chance. Teagarden got tipped.
Oh, and it was in, it looked like. Jorge Relat, I'm sure Volleyball fans will remember Felipe Relat, Pepa. That's his younger brother who's here as a freshman this year.
Where's he going to play at?
Well, he's a setter.
Felipe is playing for the Puerto Rican national team. He's actually moved to an outside hitter. You don't have a lot of size down there. He's moved to the outside.
We used him in the outside last year some. In fact, a lot of opposing coaches wondered why we didn't do it more often, because he's kind of a natural for that position.
Boy, did he click, though, in the middle.
Yeah,
oh,
especially when he was playing next to Loy. That's right.
0-1, Northwood leading. Teagarden, 3-woman block up. The knuckler by Lubin.
That was actually a rather intelligent play, assuming she did it intentionally. She saw the block was over the net, and so she wanted to set the ball into the block and hopefully get a call on blocking the set. That's if she did it intentionally.
I'm sure she did. She has really progressed a lot. You can just see it this year. She has come on a lot. Oh, the dink attempt by Davis. Davis has not put one straight down in the last 2 games.
You don't see that set very often at Division II women's level, where the pass is way off the net near the 3-meter line. They still try to set the quick attack. Loy Ball was very good at that. And you see it in the men's game where it's just faster frequently. You don't see it so much with the women.
Combination play. First time we've seen that in a while. Teagarden. And it all starts with a pass.
Exactly. When it comes right down to it, the basic fundamentals of volleyball are passing and serving.
And there's a poor pass. And Melikarova has to dump it over. And Andy Reichhardt not in position.
She should have gotten off the net and helped play that ball, is what Coach Heffron was reminding her of.
Melikarova on serve. Pavla Melikarova out of the Czech Republic, 6'3", a junior. Teagarden saves it, trying, can't come up with it. And it's 3-0 Northwood, and there's a little bit of a hole.
It's a timing problem again. The hitter is to the position before the ball arrives, and so she's jumping straight up rather than jumping towards the net and adding that momentum to the attack.
A whiff and a put down by Davis.
Oh, we got someone in the net. We got a break, number 11.
Davis was into the net.
Davis in the net.
A lot of times those middle blockers will hit it with their hips. You won't see them getting into it with the upper body. Davis, that time full arm swing, but not with authority.
She barely cleared the net. She caught the tape, but it must have come through the blockers.
Carla Peterson back in on serve at 3-0. It's a good one. Teagarden handles. Reichhardt with the kill. And she will come out. Lisa Schultz in.
Schultz is out of the Belmont program, and they're having one heck of a season this year. Lisa Sheehan, or Lisa Horman, I should say, has really got that team playing well.
And you'll find the programs listed here in the IPFW guide here, because a lot of the players, Belmont, Adams Central, Woodland, Carroll High School, Bishop, Twinger, Snyder as well.
That's
the
right.
Good programs, IPFW brings the players here. Nice job of recruiting. Another player into the net, Lubin that time.
One of the things that Tim Heffron has done is followed Arnie Ball's example in recruiting local players. When Arnie was coach of the women's team, he had strictly local players. And there are very good players in this area.
Overpass, no one there to cover it up. Parrott has to dump. Outside, this is first, blocked by Lubin. Up by Schultz, this go outside. Parrott swinging and blocked out of bounds, big point.
Hit it into the block. That was a good play all around. A good set, the right choice, executed well. Julie Parrott's timing was perfect.
0-4, Lubin on serve, good one. Peterson pushes it, dumped over, Lubin takes it now. Teagarden outside to Parrott. Dug up by Peterson. Now first
ought to be a point.
Back set, Teagarden. Two hard-working plays, long and developing, but IPFW didn't crack.
When you fall behind in volleyball, the first thing you have to do is stop the other team from scoring. And you do that by siding out. We did that, and then we let our defense take over and give us the opportunity to score when we're serving. But the first thing you have to do is stop the other team from scoring.
2-4, 4 hits, ball never made it over the net. Lubin on serve, and this has been a good rotation all night for them. Because if they don't get first, they really don't have an attacker in that front row. Melikarova does not really hit out of the back row at all.
And their setter is not real quick particularly, and so if the pass is bad,
well.
she's going to have trouble getting to it from where she's coming.
Decent pass that time, outside. Borney up with it, now Parrott.
That was a nice set.
Beautiful set. 4-4.
Very good open hand passing there.
Good pass that time. Coming back to first, and she misses long. Timeout might be in order here. IPFW with 5 straight points. You keep working first over. Lubin not going to change her game plan. Another good serve. Parrott hit that one, might have been going out of bounds. Teagarden.
Ooh.
Melikarova digs it up. Now the set. Outside, Parrott blocked late and getting up. Melikarova saves, 2 to get it over. Tied into the net. Lubin going back to Parrott. Outside the antenna.
Outside the antenna. I think Amy Lubin's doing a good job of controlling her body when she's close to the net. I don't think she's been called for being in the net tonight yet. And she's had a lot of passes that are right on top of the net. With her height, she doesn't have much you can do other than jump for it.
Teagarden, stuff block. Big block by Melikarova on the outside. Even at 5. Stacy first on serve.
Let's see if Lubin goes back to Teagarden here.
And a whip by Tryon in the middle. Teagarden outside. Parrott trying to roll one over. And now back. Opportunity for IPFW. Back to Parrott. Wanted to go into the block, just never got it up enough.
She's used all her front row options here in this rotation, and no one's been able to get a kill.
Teagarden off the fingertips, dug up by Peterson. Outside, Melikarova. That is where she likes to operate. Melikarova with the kill. 8-5 Northwood coming back with 4 straight points after IPFW had 5. This is a good rotation for Northwood.
Yeah. And actually, we should be doing better offensively here because we have both Julie Parrott and Heather Teagarden in the front row. And
both players rejected at the net.
Yeah, Heather Teagarden was our leading offensive player this year, and Julie Parrott's having an excellent offensive night. I'm not sure why we're struggling. Well, the timeout may help. If we come back with a good pass and either Parrott or Teagarden is able to get a good swing at the ball, that could stop this rally.
Mark, we're about 2 hours deep into this, and this is the 4th game, so not only is it the 2nd match of the day for both teams, but probably feels like a 3rd match. Many side outs going on, and Parrott missing long.
That's true, and they played last night as well. And the heat in the gym is a factor.
Trying. Now Lubin has to dump it over. Good play by Lubin to get it back up.
Player.
Oh, poor set. Now a chance for IPFW. Parrott with the pass outside. Teagarden. Big point. Teagarden cutting it back inside the block. Now Parrott on serve.
We're going to keep her down.
5-9. That play is just about unstoppable when she gets the right kind of set.
Actually, we've had some success with it in the last 2 games, but that one was perfect. The timing was right. Everything was right about it.
Side out. And to Ittner back on serve. Davis dumps it over on the 2nd attempt. Outside. Teagarden. Nice set.
I don't think Heather Teagarden has been hitting it down the line as much in this match as I'm used to seeing her, and I was glad to see that. That will force that blocker to get out to the antenna and seal it off.
Trying on serve. That one might have been going out. First plays it. Off the block. Parrott digs. Outside Borney. Did she catch fingertips? No.
She was a little early. She hit the ball behind her head, and it's really hard to get topspin on the ball when you do that.
Allison Freeman coming out. Pippo back. Tough serve, overpass. Melikarova straight down over right guard.
I think we were very lucky there that we didn't get called for a back row block out of Amy Lubin. She was up and I think touched the ball.
And Teagarden missing. Now 11-5 for Northern. Timeout for IPFW. Not yet. Just missing wide.
The strategy of when to call a timeout's an interesting one. Each coach has a different idea about it.
Tough serve. First with the overpass.
Tight. As I said earlier in the program, Paul, where I think Northwood is a very good blocking team is when the set is tight. And in that case, there was a tight set right in front of Melikarova, and it was just a foregone conclusion.
11-5. We're going to take a break as well. IPFW needs to get back in this one, trailing 2-1. We'll be back right after this. serve for Northern. 11-5, and Amber Borney gets a swing on the outside. It makes a difference when Melikarova is not out there. Right over the top of the center, Shannon Kite.
They're not particularly tall in the front row right now, so we should be able to score here.
Poor pass. Melikarova attacking from the back row still. Even when she attacks from the back row, she puts a lot of topspin on that ball. Hits below the midline and really cranks it down. That ball is coming straight down.
I think that particular set, as they call it, the blue, or more commonly called the back row D, is a very effective play. I'm surprised we don't use it more often.
Outside first, swinging. Parrott with the up. Reichhardt plays it. Now the reset, and too tight for Davis.
Well, we have a timeout from Northwood. They want to try to stop our momentum before it goes very far.
Good timeout?
Good timeout.
7-11. IPFW trailing. 2 straight points for the Volleyball.
It's important when you're on the road and you're tired, you're in a tough match, that you don't let the home team get momentum late, because it's very hard to beat the crowd and all the advantages that a home team has.
Mentioned at the top, IPFW 9-0. That's a school record. Broke the mark of 8-0 by the 87 team, which, according to Mark Franke, who has been here since he said forever, was the best team he ever saw. So this team has some potential. But if they want to make it 10 in a row, they have to dig out right now. 7-11, Borney on serve.
Oh, caught the, no.
Ooh, just misses.
I thought she caught the line. That would have been a very good serve if it hadn't come after a timeout. That kind of error normally you're willing to accept because it was a tough serve. She didn't miss by much. But after a timeout, your opponent has called a timeout. You don't want to break off your rally.
Right.
You want to make them break it.
Keep the ball in play.
That's right.
But another service error.